Taylor will be in the back of the auditorium in that corner if you want to chat with him after our next presentation. Thank you, Taylor, for coming. He did bring a backpack for one lucky student who listened to his presentation. Seat number 126. 126. And that is why I asked you to sit in front of the pole. So we're going to move forward. Everybody in the last half of the auditorium, this is a very interactive presentation coming. This is your chance to get put in for the drawing for the backpack by moving right now. 126. It's on the bottom of the chair. What does it say? Ha ha ha. That's awesome. 33. I maybe chose my numbers totally wrong. Okay, I'm going to guess. We're going to put this backpack in the drawing with the rest because apparently they're numbered 1 through 18 on every row. And I didn't know that. You live and you learn, students. Ha. All right. I want you to pull your cell phones out right now. If you say, I will just keep you longer. Put them on silent. Now sit on them. Sit on them. I don't want to see them. With your full attention, I would like to have a warm welcome for GTC Dramatic Dialogues.
Thank you. How's freshman orientation been so far? I didn't believe that great. That to say great. Was that authentic? Yeah. Real quick before we get started, I want to let you know that if you have a response or a triggered traumatic response to anything we're going to talk about today, Bridget is here, and you can go and talk to her or step out if you need to take a breather or get some air. And we'll get to what we're going to talk about in a little bit. But yeah, I want to get to know you all really quick. I haven't been to North Dakota in a very long time. How many people here are from like the greater Devil's Lake area? Raise your hand. Okay, so a lot of local. Anybody from a different state? Oh, okay. Anybody from Minnesota? Okay. We cried during the playoffs. I'm with you. Anybody from South Dakota? No South Dakotans. Oh, we got the one. He didn't raise his hand at first. He didn't want to let people know. Anybody from Wisconsin? Packers fans? No? Oh, Packers fans? So we're going to be holding a separate show for you. It's outside near a dumpster. You'll see some of Aaron Rodgers' jersey on fire. It's fine. The show's going to get to you. You'll see it'll be great. I would love to see that. Anywhere else outside the Midwest? Raise your hand. I'm curious to get to know where y'all are from. Yeah, where are you from? Canada. Oh, goodness. Yeah, you back there behind him. Texas. All right. Yeah. Iowa. East or west? Because that really, in the middle? Hawkeye or Cyclone? You can't be in between on that. What do you? Okay, that's weird. I never heard that before. Yes. You said what? Hawaii. Oh, goodness. Well, welcome to negative 44 degrees. You're going to love it. It's going to be great. That's why you came here, right? You got tired of the beautiful weather. Anyone else? One more. Yes. Puerto Rico. Welcome. All right. So we're all here. Really quick, I want to know, for how many of you is this like your first time in college, being able to have certain discussions that you weren't able to have at your Thanksgiving dinner table or dinner table at all? For how many of you is this your first time at college? This is your first college you've gone to? Okay, cool. Does anybody know what we're here to talk about today at all? Not a clue. Anybody want to take like just a shot in the dark? Yeah. Title IX. What is Title IX? What is that? Is it like rape? That's what we got a very strong answer. But it is about rape. Yeah, it's about sexual assault. What else? Sexual misconduct. What else? What else is Title IX about? Yes? Equal opportunity amongst girls and boys. Okay. All right. Anyone else? We want to add to what Title IX is. Whoop. So sorry about that. Yeah. Harassment. Okay. So we're here to talk about Title IX and also a little bit of what's that to you? Political correctness. Raise your hand. Who said that? Oh, right there. Yeah. What does political correctness mean to you? Did anybody hear that? Everybody hear that? No. Here, one second. I just want you to say that one more time to this mic, because we're going to be passing this around so people can hear each other. It's the way that the whole forum is going to go. It's okay. Yeah, it's on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you want to turn the volume down?
No, it's okay. Just hold it further away from your mouth. It's all right.
Okay, so I said I'm from a different generation, so I just said yeah.
So what was?
I'm from not a political correct generation.
What was political correctness in your generation?
Speaking the truth, speaking your mind, saying things like it is.
Wouldn't we say this the same thing right now?
No.
No? Okay, fair enough. I feel like everybody wants to speak the truth and speak their mind and say it like it is, right? Wouldn't you all want to do that? Why would it offend somebody to speak your truth and speak your mind and tell it how it is? Why would that offend somebody? Somebody fill me in. Raise your hand. You got to raise your hand. Otherwise, I can't take like several people talking at the same time.
Okay. Usually people are very sensitive these days.
Okay.
So political correctness would be,
Shh, I can't hear if you guys are talking.
I guess, minding your manners is one way to say it.
Political correctness would be minding your manners?
Not really.
I'm curious. So, from your experience so far, since you've been in this group, when did you all start? When did you all meet each other? How long ago was that? Yesterday. Have you all been politically correct? Have you had any experiences that weren't politically correct? How has it been so far? Fill me in. It's been great. It's been good. It's been what? You said, what was that again? Give her smoke. What do you mean by that?
You just do it.
Just get her done. Yeah. Give her smoke. Never heard that before. Give her smoke. So what we're here to talk about today is, yes, Title IX. We're also here to talk about sexual communication and drugs. So sex and drugs, for short. And you can talk about rock and roll if you'd like after the show. That's great. You can do that on your own time. Yeah. First, let's start off with sex. Very quickly. The guy that said give her smoke is, yeah, all right. Usually we have more time to get into this, but we only have X amount of time for this intro. What is sex? No, wait. No, raise your hand. Raise your hand. All right. My man, give her smoke. What is it?
Penetration.
Penetration. So you're saying if I fill up my bike tire with air, that's sex? It's penetration. I'm penetrating the tire, right? I'm going to give you one more shot because we don't got a lot of time. I see eyes rolling and whatnot back there. Here, I'm going to pass this back if you guys can give this person a shot. Okay, last shot for the audience. What is sex?
Sex. Oh my God. I would say it would have to be intercourse with the same people, like same sex or opposite sex. But it's people coming together. I don't know.
This people coming together?
He just
I don't know. They just made that hand gesture. Literally, it's people coming in. Okay. All right. Okay. Politically correct so far. All right, real quick. What is communication? Is it talking? Body language? Raise your hand if you know how much talking or communication we do without words, without speaking. You gotta raise your hand. Yes. %83 physically, 18%. You said 13%? Where's the other 17%? Okay. I was wondering where the rest of the percent was there. Okay. It's around 90. 90% of our communication is physical. It's with gestures, it's with facial gestures, with our hands, with our bodies. Let's get really quickly down to drugs. Raise your hand if you've had some type of drug training, like anti-drug training. Okay, what's a good slogan that you've heard? Just raise your hand. I want to get at least 3. Yes, go. What? DARE. Okay, I forget what the acronym means. That's how well it worked on me. Yes, you had your hand up. What's a slogan you heard? Drugs, not even once. Okay, yeah. There's a time and place for everything, and it's called college. All right. Take 2. Yes. Take a bite out of crime? Okay. I thought somebody was going to say hugs, not drugs at some point. Crack is whack. Geez, I'm trying to think of the other ones. I can't really think of it. Thank you. Drug awareness, resistance, education. Somebody remember that out of all of us. I'm happy that worked at some point. I'm going to ask you a real quick question. Has anti-drug training worked on you? Is that? It has. Okay. Would you admit if it hadn't? Or like, no, I'm using drugs. I want to ask you real quick. What do you all want? And think about it. Think about it for a second. What do you want? You said what? You want a what? John Deere quad track. What else? What else do you want? I want to challenge you to think a little bit bigger. Just a little bit bigger. Yes. A nice house in the garden. What else? Yeah. A passionate life. What else? Yes. Overall success. Okay. See, I want to go on that track. I get it. Some of us want, a John Deere tractor. We want a house in a garden. We want a nap. We want food. We want to get laid. I mean, I get it. It's easy for some of us to ask for that stuff. I mean, well, not for all of us, but for some of us. Well, what I'm saying is that I want to challenge you to think a little bit bigger, because you have this really, really rare opportunity right now. You have the opportunity right now for the next less than 90 minutes, because I've been babbling a little too long, to talk about what's actually on your mind, to really maybe step outside of this political correctness, or redefine what political correctness is to you. We don't have to take the definitions that have been put out today. We can maybe redefine that, what that means to you. We will get into the lawful and also Webster's book dictionary definition of sex, communication, and drugs. We'll get into all that. But I want you to think about what you want right now, like on a larger scale. What kind of friends do you want to have? What kind of communication do you want to have? What kind of legacy do you want to lead here? And what kind of life do you want to have after you leave this campus? Because, I mean, undoubtedly, all of you are going to have to leave this campus at some point. What do you want to do between now and the end of your time? Think about that. I know that sounds a little morbid, but think about that. What do you actually want, like on a big picture scale? I really challenge you to think about that. Unfortunately, today, we don't have any answers for you. We have no answers. We're not going to sit here and tell you how to live your life, tell you what kind of behavior is going to be okay and not. I will check you know every now and then because we're here in a public forum, and if you say something, I'll ask you furthermore, well, what do you mean by that? So that's kind of the rules of the game here. I'll hold you to your word. But we do have a lot of questions. That's what's exciting about the next few minutes here. We have a lot of questions. And so what we're going to do is we're somewhere behind these curtains. I have 3 actors that are going to come out and perform 3 short scenes. And while they're performing those scenes, you're going to see some behavior you might have seen before. You're going to hear some things you might have heard before. Opinion while that's happening. And when they're done with the scene, questions for them, ask them. What did you mean by that? Actually talk to them. And then I'm basically going to is that you ever had an argument and you lost it, and then like the next day you woke up and you were like, I could have said that. I could have said it. I could have won the whole argument. It's an argument. Lie. Okay, I see a group of they're all back argument before. And then you wake up and you wanna say something. You're like, darn it, I thought of something. I don't want that to happen to you tomorrow. Because if you hear I want you to actually, oh, sorry about that. I want you to actually address it. I want you to talk about it. If you hear something today that you actually disagree with, maybe the response you have may not be politically correct. Speak to it. Talk about it. How does that sound? Come on, how does that sound, y'all? Okay. I'm going to introduce you to our first 3 students, Jim, Anna, and Pete. They're meeting at a party just off campus.
Oh, it's Anna's turn.
I'm not playing.
Come on.
I'm just fine, thank you. And I think you've had enough too. So,
Liberal art.
what focus are
No, I'm playing. English lit.
Wait, really? That's my
Oh, you have Professor Radish.
easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, she's tough. Oh. You guys.
So Jim talks about you all the time. How did you guys? Do you not remember how you met?
I would have remembered before we started playing.
Okay.
No, come on. Stop it. Oh.
Wait, you were in
Oh, Jim's group. Jim's group. Jim's group. Got it.
Oh my god.
We're going along.
Yeah.
I look around. I have to. Bennett Hall. Bennett, yeah, Bennett Hall. It wasn't that bad. It was. So
Oh.
Well, I'll drink to that. Cheers.
Oh my
sorry.
god.
I'm sorry. Here, I'll get you a towel. Hey, Steve, towel. Hey, I'll give you yours if you show me mine.
Pete, stop.
Hey, I got it. Here you go. I can handle my liquor.
Pete,
What?
you
No?
don't have to
No?
have any.
Let him go.
Hey, let's go dance.
Later, we'll play it again. Oh. I have to stop.
Jim, don't. He said he wanted to stop. I really don't. What? We just lost.
Oh.
That was. You okay?
God. Hey. Oh.
Nope.
Nope.
All right, come on.
Oh. All right.
He does not need any more of. Are you kidding me? Where's your brain? Come on. Okay. Let's get ready to go. Please. Give me your car keys. Come on. Thank you. Jim, really? I will.
Hey, Jim. Bathroom. Well, he's puking. Okay. Hey, and I hate to ask, can you?
Okay.
Are you drunk? Okay. How much have you had to drink?
I'm just
11. How's that? A couple of beers. Wow, this is just genius. Genius. What do you think? Drunk.
He's had too much to.
Hey, Jim, and you're acting irresponsibly. Okay. He's having a good old time. Is that end of discussion? That's, yeah.
He got really aggressive when she. Yeah, he got really aggressive. Tried not. Got aggressive.
Did anybody else notice that he got a little bit aggressive with when
I wouldn't say aggressive.
else? No?
Kind of bringing down
You know,
like the vibe. Yeah, she was kind of being naggy. Like,
Okay, so that was totally cool.
And something happened to the other guy. Yeah,
What do you mean? What happened?
like he's passed out again.
okay, I've got a question. How many of you out there have in this at a party? I got it.
All right, we have a very honest audience. Very honest audience. I want to go back to this thing with Anna. Did anybody else notice that, or is that totally? I heard some people back there go woo when he yelled at her. Some people said, you know, like over here. Was it totally fine, or how did you feel about that? Why not?
A real man would not yell at a woman right there. That's messed up.
Okay. He doesn't do that though. That was like the first time.
Hey, no excuses. A dick's a dick, bro.
Okay. Look. He literally has never talked.
1 second. So, you have people saying that you're being a dick, and then you're saying that you're a real man. How do you?
Oh no, and if that's your real friend, you would take care of him.
Okay, so
Dude, I love my friends. I'll take care of them.
Okay, question. How should he take care of him?
Probably make sure he's all right, not like choking on his own puke. Probably bring him home.
1 second.
he's his own man. I don't have to.
What do you mean he's old? How old do you have to be to take care of yourself? And if we're running with this logic that grown man. What's a grown man? 18?
You can drive, so.
Okay, so 1 second, please. I got a mic that's out and I can't hear if you guys are talking. What? If somebody's shaking their head, you're like, no. He's 18. Why is he not a grown man?
Well, first of all, the legal drinking age here is 21. And even if you're a grown man and you're old enough to drink, it doesn't mean you should be taking care of yourself when you're so drunk that you can't even function. That's how you end up puking, choking on your vomit, and dying when your friends don't take care of you.
You guys are talking like you've never been to a party, never been with your friends.
Well, one second. How many people have been to a party where there's alcohol there?
Oh, some of y'all are.
Okay, yeah.
So I think that being a man at an age limit, I think it's more of a mental state than an age limit. I'm 53. I know 35-year-old, 40-year-old guys that act like they're 18. I know 17-year-olds that act like they're 35. I think it's more of a mental state. I think it's more choices that you make. I also think that, you know, I'm an ex-paratrooper, so I've been in bars. When I was in the military, yeah, we partied, huh? So when you get to a certain level of drinking, you lose the ability to reason. You ever heard that expression, it's impossible to reason with a drunk? So a lot of times when you're drunk and when you're at the stage that this actor was, you don't really know what you're saying or doing to a certain extent. It's the alcohol talking, it's the alcohol acting. Way beyond the point of reason. Way beyond the point of reason.
Jim, you're saying that within reason. Why is that?
Because he's drinking, so you think you're still making good decisions when you're drinking. That's why people get behind the wheel of a car when they're smashed, because they don't have the ability to stop themselves because they can't reason because they're drunk.
Yeah, but you were just about to get behind the wheel of the car. I would have let you.
I would be that 101.
What?
1 second. So wait. Jim, you're saying you're a 1 in 1. It's a 1 in 100 chance that somebody's gonna die. That didn't make any sense. Why? How do you know that your friend isn't gonna die? Somebody just said that's how he pukes, chokes, and then dies.
I've been where.
Well, here's the thing. Another thing, too, to add. Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt. But a lot of the times, alcohol poisoning doesn't kick in until the next morning or even 12 or, a couple hours after you're done drinking, when it actually hits the liver. So you can die even when you're sober.
So how do you know that Pete doesn't have, 1 second, how do you know that Pete doesn't have alcohol poisoning?
No, how do you know that?
Well,
Like I said, like we've all been in that situation.
Okay, but he doesn't do this all the time. Know like what his limits are.
Here, I'm like,
What?
Peter! Peter, you speak.
What? Jim. Oh. Yeah. Have a good time. Not now.
You know, I just believe that his friend over there is in the state whereby he's not mentally accepting what's going on with him. He's one of those people whereby when it comes to push to the shore, he will never get to live to tell the story. She will be the one to explain what has happened. His friend over there is just one of those ones among us here sitting down who is being affected by peer pressure. His friend is the one who is taking him around, and I believe, according to him, this is not the first time doing that to him. So they've been buddy going around seeing him like that. Just like somebody else says before, alcohol, or the state where they are right now, it's not only decision making, but it's also being responsible. His friend over there suffering what he's suffering because he can't make decision on his own. He's been controlled by his friend over there, and for him, it's fun seeing him going through what he's going through. Somebody else asked a question by saying that he kind of snapped at her, and a real man should not do that. I just want to be honest to the highest level in among ourselves, not only questioning him, but in among ourselves, sitting here looking at him. I want to also to ask us, being a man, what do we mean by a real man? Because the situation where he is doing that, if we only can be honest, every one of us can reach to that point at a certain time. But I am myself confused here, and I know he is also. If only he could ask us back, what do we mean by a real man? And that's all.
That's a great question. What do you mean by a real man? Because he's using it as it sounds like Jim is saying he's being a real man, and then we have an idea of what it means to be a real man out in the audience. Somebody said that as well, and we're getting into this total gender discussion of what it means to be a man. I'm curious, were any women offended by what happened up here at all? If not, we'll just totally move on. A little, yes. Can you just start? Can you tell us why? Okay. Have you seen that before? Is that something you've experienced? Okay. How did it make you feel when he did that? Okay. Does that happen often?
Yeah.
Well, you probably realize that the
Okay,
party.
listen, Jim, you're not making yourself. No, he's never done anything like that. He would never.
That's not.
But I'm just saying, never.
Yeah, I'm not a violent person. No.
Okay. But speaking of reasoning, I want to go back to something we were talking about where, Jim, you said you're going to drive your girlfriend and your friend home. I'm curious, well, why is that after you've had 11 beers and a shot? Is that okay to drive after having 11 beers and a shot?
Okay, well.
No? We're getting an overall no here.
Well, okay, for some people I can understand. But for me specifically, I know myself. After I've been drinking, how I feel. And hold on, I let you guys. And then once I get ready to leave, it's I it's like a switch that turns. I do my Zen mode.
Yeah,
It's just
like the last
it's
time?
Like,
What do you mean by the last time, Anna?
I mean, do you want me to tell them?
no,
No, you can tell us a story.
You're a storyteller. And
I'm a storyteller. Okay.
Okay, so what she is alluding to is time I was at a party and we ran out of beer. I decided to go and so I'm getting in my car and it's raining. Torrential downpour, like
It wasn't raining that day, actually.
it was like I said, down.
There was no rain.
So I'm driving, right? And as I'm coming around the curve, there is like a little
What?
just pops out and is going across the street.
There was nothing in the road. There was literally nothing.
driving.
There was
So
no
this
corgi.
puppy comes
He's making
across the
all of
street.
this up right now.
Me,
Okay.
being the nice guy, and
Yeah.
didn't want to commit dogicide.
Yeah.
I
What?
swerved my car and I missed the dog. But like,
There was no dog.
I scraped like the side of my.
You scraped it?
Yeah, it's just like dinged up a little.
Didn't want to commit dogicide.
He totaled his car, actually.
What? By. Speak up.
Wait, you got to speak up. Wait, now 1 second. You're saying it was raining. How much had you had to drink?
Like a couple of beers.
Okay, so a couple. So now you're gonna commit homicide.
It was a dog. It was a dog.
I know, but I'm saying now you're gonna commit manslaughter. I mean, if you drive your girlfriend and your friend home.
No, because I promise you, I know myself. When I get behind the wheel, I'm perfectly dry.
Raise your hand if you think Jim should give the keys to Anna right now. Okay, so everybody thinks you should give the keys to Anna right now.
Come on, dude. I drove here. What am I gonna leave my car here?
Just give the keys to Anna. Just give them to her.
But I drove us here. I can drive my car back.
Should Anna be driving the car as well? We have yes and no? Anybody want to speak up on why they said no? 1 second. Why shouldn't Anna drive?
Personally, I don't care how much you had to drink, if you had one drink or not. If you put alcohol to your lips, I don't want you driving me. I've lost a friend because someone went home with someone else who had a drink, and everybody else in the car came out except for him. So.
Okay. All right. It might be responsible just to have the keys in the most sober person's hands, and then you can all walk home. Okay. Please, Jim.
Yes.
You can still be a real man tomorrow. You'll be fine. Trust me. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, Jim, I know this is like a tall order for you, being a real man and everything. Can you take care of your friend, like take him back to his dorm and make sure he's okay?
He's fine. I'm not taking him anywhere. He's fine. He's gonna.
Okay, Anna, I hate to ask this. Can you take Pete back home and make sure that he doesn't die tonight?
Perfectly fine. You guys are making a mountain out.
Okay. All right, Jim. Thank you all and best of luck.
Anything at all, Jim? No? Not gonna. Okay. See you later. You have a good night.
Okay, what a gentleman. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's the illusion of the imagination. So, I'm really curious. I know that some people may have still been thinking things, but I want to pick your brains real quick. What kind of drug is alcohol? What does a depressant do? What? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Yes.
It makes you feel really good, and then it turns bad after a while.
Not the scientific explanation I was looking for, but open it up for somebody to challenge that.
Yeah, I think that means like when you drink one time, you probably like feel good about it. But if you drive, it's gonna end in a bad situation. Because I've seen lots of people like drive and kill other people that did not drink once, and that just makes you sad inside. That makes you sad.
We're kind of getting off the track a little bit. Alcohol is a depressant. Okay, it's a depressant, and what a depressant does is it shuts down your body. It shuts down certain parts of your brain, until the final thing it shuts down. We'll get to in a little bit. But what's the first thing that alcohol shuts down? We talked about it in the beginning. Some people brought it up already. Raise your hand. Yeah. Your ability to reason and make good decisions. Your judgment is the first thing to go. So, that light is yellow. I can make it. I got to be up for class at 6 a.m. I'll be up in time. Oh, I've had 2. I can have 2 more. So your judgment goes out the door. It's a slippery slope. Then your motor skills, vision, cognitive skills, all these things shut down. And what's the last thing to shut down? Not your memory. Your memory will go before this last thing does. Yes. Not your liver. Well, maybe your liver goes along with this thing as well, but yes. No, it's your heart. Your heart stops. So you go into cardiac arrest, or you go into basically what's alcohol poisoning. Raise your hand if you've ever known somebody that suffered from alcohol poisoning. Keep your hand up. If your hand is not up, look around right now, please. That's one of the most people. That's the highest number I've seen in a room of this number of people. That's a lot of people. So think about that. Was Pete possibly on his way to alcohol poisoning? Yeah. Has anybody seen anybody in Pete's position before? Okay. And have you helped in that situation? I know we talk about this thing like being a real man. I'm curious to get the whole gender thing out of there, but I want to like get down to the brass tacks of like being a real friend. Have you assisted in some type of situation at all where that was happening? And one second, I can't hear when people are talking, so please raise your what happened in that situation.
I was at a party one time and there was a girl that was hyperventilating and puking, and I was the only one to help her. And then there was another girl there that was like a nurse or something, and everybody else was still partying, and this girl's like hyperventilating and puking. But yeah, it was a pretty scary moment.
So I guess the moral of that, I mean, and also just to get off this idea of just gender or whatever, is to be a real friend, or even in that case when you don't even know the person, help that person down the line. You don't know what could happen. Also, I want to bring this up because Bridget told me to bring this up. Medical amnesty. Do you know that if you have been drinking, you're underage or you're way over the limit, and then you try to help somebody else, what's going to happen to you? Does anybody know? Yes. Exactly. You have medical amnesty. You're helping out on campus. So it's very important that you know that if you've been drinking, you can help another student or classmate that has been drinking. So please think about that. I want you to raise your hand if you've ever known somebody that's passed away in a drunk driving accident. Okay. Does anybody care to share what happened?
It was on a Easter Sunday, like around that time. It was a Saturday night, and I had spoke to my friend on Thursday. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go party. We're gonna have a good time. Blah blah blah. You should come." And I was like, "Nah, I had something to do." Whatever. So he went to the party with a whole bunch of other people, one group of people. They were all hanging, drinking, having fun. So when that group of people were like, "Yeah, we're ready to go," he was like, "No, I'm gonna hang out and stay afterwards." And the person that he went home with was drinking so much that when they were driving on the highway, and they got hit by a tractor trailer truck, rode off the highway. The car flipped over, and about, this thing is 4 people were in the car. out of the 4 people, he was the one in the passenger seat in the front, and he got pinned into the passenger seat. He couldn't get out. And when they tried to pull him out, because they were frantic, mind you, everyone's already intoxicated and everyone's flipping out because the car slipped over. They're trying to get him out as best as they could. When they pulled him out, he died from internal bleeding. And that's because the driver was intoxicated and he got.
Yeah. If the driver survives, it's a pretty tragic situation because they go to prison for a very long time, or depending on what the legalities that fall on them are. I guess at the beginning, I said we're not going to tell you how to act, how to be. I will tell you the setup of what your campus rules are, and how you want it to be. Think about some of the stuff that was said in this discussion. Think about some stuff that we laughed at. Why did we laugh at that? Think about some of the stuff that we didn't talk about. Why did we not talk about that? Think about all that. And I go back to the question I asked you in the beginning. What kind of campus do you want? Think bigger. And lastly, I'll ask you, what kind of friend do you want to be? Or what kind of bystander do you want to be? Think about that. All right. We have to move on. I'm going to introduce you to 2 new students, Nick and Jessica. And they are meeting at a party just off campus. And that chair in the middle of the stage is a keg, by the way.
All right, Perkament, seriously. Put down that vagina juice drink and I'll get you a man's drink. A beer, all right? Cool. Hey, Steve. Yeah, grab that faggot freshman over there. Tell him to pump this keg. No, that's why we let him. Oh my.
Carrie, I need more. It's all gone. Where'd you go?
Yo.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to see you. I've been looking for you all night.
No, I've been looking for you all night.
Shut up. You don't remember me?
No, I totally remember you.
You don't remember me. We're in class.
Class, okay.
Thursday morning.
Yeah, that class is hard.
I know. Shut
up. I'm gonna go check this. So.
The party is great.
Thanks.
The house looks great. I love the decorations. Lots of purple, lots of gold.
Mardi Gras.
I know. Let the good times roll. Laissez les bons temps rouler.
Yeah. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
I know French. You're a bad boy.
Oh, I'm a bad boy? How did you get all these beats?
I got them.
Were you on the balcony?
No, I wanted to go up there.
Well, hey. Let's go.
You are a bad boy.
What did you say your name was?
Jessica.
Well, Jessica. Who are you here with?
I'm here by myself. I mean, I'm not here by myself. How lame would that be? I'm standing here by myself. But I came here with a friend, a girlfriend, Carrie. But now I'm with you.
So you're Carrie's friend?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Shut up. Wait, do you know Carrie?
Yeah, that slut, everybody knows Carrie.
She's not a slut. She's a slut.
So come on, you said you want to go to the balcony. Get you lots more beads.
What's your major?
I'm undeclared.
But you're a junior.
Why is that so funny?
I mean, it's not.
No, I'm kidding.
Anyway.
It's a joke.
Oh.
It's fine.
Okay.
So come on. You want to go to the balcony, right? It's right through my room. I'll take you right up.
Let's stay here.
No, you can't get more beads down here. Besides, quieter upstairs. It'll be easier to talk. Kind of cute. Like to get to know you better. And do you like pool? We've got pool.
Oh, pool?
A pool table, but you can swim on it if you want.
We could dance.
Yeah, we can dance upstairs. I got a stereo.
Harry won't know where I am.
Oh, hey, wait. Boo.
Oh, how'd you get over there?
magic. We'll have more fun without these losers anyways. But if it makes you feel better, we can find Carrie on the way out. Yeah? Oh, look, there she is. She's right here. Hey, Carrie!
Carrie!
Oh. Yo, Hobag! Yeah, you know who I'm talking to. Look, I'm going to take
Jessica.
I know. Jessica up to the balcony for some beads. It's all good.
But I'm not going to flash.
Hey, whatever you want.
We're just going up to the balcony to roast these, right?
Sure, sure. Beads, pool, anything you want. Hey, what did you say your major was?
I'm pre-med.
Awesome. I can teach you some anatomy lessons.
Wait, really? Shut up. What's your major?
Nick, buddy, back, please.
Hey, yo, give me 5 minutes.
Just 5. Can you talk for a second, man?
I can talk in like 5 minutes. You want?
Please.
What's going on?
Quick.
No, you don't need to worry about.
Yeah, just have a seat. Have a seat, Jessica.
Nobody knows.
You know him?
No, I don't know this guy. I don't know what he's doing here.
I'm Jessica.
Quick second, please.
Okay.
No, what? Dude.
You're gonna be fine. Nick, you'll be fine. You'll be just fine.
Paging Dr. Cockblock. Dr. Cockblock.
Wait, are you a doctor? I'm pre-med. That's awesome. What? Is that for you? Okay.
I don't know. Who's counting? It's a party.
Okay.
We tapped the first keg around noon. Yeah.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, sure.
That's a lot.
Sure, sounds about right.
I don't know. I mean, I've had this cup, and then when
got
it's
the
empty,
shot at the door,
I
right?
fill it up. Yes, I got the shot at the door.
Good stuff.
That was because I was on the VIP.
Oh,
I
let
was
me tell
on the
you, it's
VIP
a house
list.
recipe.
I was on the
But
VIP.
I know what's in it. Why is it weird that I know what's in it? I made them. No, I made it, so I was going to tell you
Well,
what's in it.
So they're like purple, and there's some like gold ones and green ones.
Mardi Gras.
They were beautiful. Whoa!
Hey, whoa. I don't know
Ruby
who
did
said that, but that's not cool.
No.
I know.
No, my friend Carrie, she knows. No, my friend Carrie knows all of these guys, and she said they're.
We're good. We are a house of gentlemen.
Oh, of course not. That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Yes.
You're right. You're right.
I know.
You're smart.
They're all very nice.
Okay,
They
so
wouldn't do something like that. That's like crazy.
okay, anything else that you thought was questionable about this? Yes.
So you took a drink from someone you personally didn't know,
Well, I
and
mean-
you just took it,
But
downed
we're in
it,
class.
and decided that you were going to go into a house
we're
of
in
strangers
class.
as well?
I mean, have you never been to a party at a house you
Or
haven't
a
been to before?
bar and you don't know the bartender, you get a drink from a person you
Good
don't know.
point.
Like, come on.
She's acting suspiciously. He's acting like he's trying to separate her.
Who are you
It's-
talking about? What is going on? I'm trying to understand.
He purposely blocked her into the room, even though she pretty clearly wanted to go back to her friend and go talk to her friend, who she did know. Also, how long has your friend known these guys?
I don't know, like a couple years or something.
Yeah, I
She's
don't
been
care, a
going to
couple
college
years.
with them
She's
for a
good.
while.
Okay, so he says a while. Also, did anybody else see him physically blocking her from leaving the room? Or is that just
That
a few
never
people?
happened.
Okay, so why were you blocking her from leaving the room?
I never blocked her from leaving the room. I was trying to get her to leave the room.
What did you think Nick wanted to happen when he got her out of the room? To
No.
What? To teach. What do you mean by teach her anatomy?
Science.
What?
Science class? So we have two gentlemen over here that says teach her anatomy in science class. Is that really what was going to happen?
Yeah.
No, we're in English together.
Is that what's on Thursdays?
Okay, so that, 1 second. You're way over there. Can you speak up, please?
No.
Okay,
No.
wait. Let's get specific. What do you mean, like, take advantage of her how? No, but I want to get to the brass tacks of what I just asked. Take advantage of her how? Sexual intercourse. So my question to you, so we can kind of break this down because I love to hold a conversation accountable. Why do you think the gentleman over there said anatomy and science and then kind of laughed, and then some of us didn't laugh and some of us said sexually take advantage of her? That's a pretty big gap, science and anatomy and sexually take advantage of somebody. Why do you think that they would say that? Some people don't take sex seriously? Or could you say some people don't take sexual assault seriously? Yeah? Why is that? Why is that? Fill me in.
Why are we talking about sexual?
Well, so they're saying that you would have possibly been taken advantage of if you went upstairs with them.
That wasn't gonna happen.
He
It's
said
whatever
I want. Yeah.
Whatever she wants.
But Jessica, I want to talk about what this woman over here said. She said that he was trying to take sexual advantage of you. Is that what you thought was going to happen?
She doesn't know me.
Oh, so then I'll just ask you the question. Did you want sex to happen when you went upstairs?
No, but we were just gonna hang out because quieter up.
1 second, gentleman that just lied.
Wait, what's the lie?
Said that you're lying that you didn't want to have.
I'm just like, it's kind of embarrassing to talk about sex in front of all of you, but I didn't want to have sex. I just wanted to get to know him a little bit.
Get to know me better, you know.
These guys, so weird.
1 second.
No such thing as getting to know somebody.
That's not gonna happen. I'm fine.
1 second.
Well, it looked like he was wanting to take her, like, the balcony.
Yeah.
But it was clearly, like, indicated that you wanted to, like, have sex with her without her actually giving consent.
I never said that.
And it would indicate, like,
I don't know where you're
rape.
inferring that I would do something like that. I'm a gentleman.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what you
one
said.
second. One at a time.
But I don't want
It's up to her.
that.
Okay, so also you use language like you talked about Carrie calling her a slut.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Because she's a slut.
Okay.
Why would you not? What?
Wait, 1 second. Say it again.
What's your definition of a slut?
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what a slut is. She gets around. She'll sleep with you for like an extra drink.
What?
It's great.
Okay.
She's reliable. What?
Okay. So I want to get down. Jessica, why did you disagree with him at first that she's not a slut, and then you agreed with him later on?
Because she's a slut.
I mean,
Nick.
look, it's just like it's not very nice to say that. Like, I don't really like that word or whatever, but like, I don't know. They're just like joking around. It's just like how guys talk.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with sluts. I love sluts.
Okay, so Jessica, what do you think the best plan is right now? Do you want to go upstairs with Nick, or should we go find Carrie?
She already said she wanted to go upstairs like a billion times.
Nick,
Why don't you
1
let her do
second.
what she wants?
Can you just let her speak for herself for once?
This is getting a little weird, so I'm just gonna go find.
Okay, I think that sounds like a great plan.
Okay.
Best of luck
May
to
I
both
be
of you,
excused?
and thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, doctor.
Wait,
No
are
problem.
you a doctor or not? Because I'm pre-med.
Yeah, sure, I am. Okay, but best of luck to both of you.
We'll
Thank you.
talk more later.
Yeah. Okay.
Carrie.
I want to get down to some people still had their hands up and they wanted to comment, and I have some questions I have for you all as well. But yeah, anybody that wants Anybody that wanted to say something else? Yeah.
He kept saying, if you noticed a few times, he kept saying more than once, it's whatever she wants, right? You heard him say that a few times, like, I'm not going to take advantage of her. It's whatever she wants. Well, and when a person's in that drunken state like that, sometimes it's easier to manipulate someone into thinking that's what they want because they're drunk. Does that make sense?
Something else I noticed, and I think this is an underlying issue for a lot of things, is the general breakdown of respect between individual people, whether you know them or not. There's people who are, even here in the audience, who, like you said, they're willing to joke around with that kind of stuff. But I think that's a big societal issue we have right now, is there's a general lack of respect for both the opposite sex and for just people as an individual. Immaturity, I think, is one of the biggest reasons, is that
They also joke about it because they don't think it ever happened to them. And I think it's a lot easier for men to joke about it because they don't get as harsh as a lot of women. And it's always funny, and it's always it'll never happen back. That they can be, though. Like, men can be on the receiving end of sexual assault for sure, but it's definitely not as common as women. And they don't get, especially if it's a guy where he knows he'd never do it, then it's also a joke to them because, like, well, why would such a thing, and it's never going to happen. So it's kind of funny that we talk about it so much, make it a big deal in their eyes, because they're like, this isn't something that happens, because they don't.
Well, another thing with the gender issue thing, a lot of people, and it's both genders, use really offensive words like slut and cunt and dyke and like other things like that. They use them too freely. Mhm. Because I was being serious, and I was referring to the seriousness of the words when they were just throwing it out around like it's loosey goosey. Yes, because it's like one girl has sex with this guy and she's a slut, but then he has sex with 3 other girls the next day and he's a guy. Okay.
Roofies. Rohypnol. Okay, what else? Alcohol is one. It was on stage. Ecstasy. Not a lot of people know that, but ecstasy is a date rape drug. Quaaludes, if they're still around, that's not on our list, but Molly has been one. That's the sixth one that has not necessarily been on everybody's radar. So we have Rohypnol, alcohol, Molly, ecstasy. There is also ketamine, which is used as a horse tranquilizer, and then GHB. So, and some people kind of are taken aback when I say ketamine. People that commit date rape or use date rape drugs, it's not a sophisticated plot or plan. It's not an act of sophistication. People will use a date rape drug however they can manufacture it or engineer it with anything from Walgreens or whatever they can get their hands on, whatever is accessible. Can you smell a date rape drug? Can you see a date rape drug? Okay, so you can't smell or see it. How can you prevent it? How can you prevent yourself from ingesting a date rape drug? Yes. Okay. There's even something problematic in me saying, "How can you prevent this?" And we'll get onto that down the line. So I just want to give you a heads up if you're feeling a certain way about that. You can also, everything that she said. You can check your own drinks, bring your own drinks in. Maybe not take. Maybe ask what was in the shot, or I don't know what you would do with a party that's had a shot at the door. Yes. Okay, so there's a nail polish that you can put in your drink, and it'll change the color of your nail polish if there is a date rape drug in it. Also, I want to get down to the final part of this scene before we introduce our last scene and we wrap up here. As a bystander, has anybody seen a situation like this before happening? Raise your hand. Like two people about to or not about to hook up at a party. Okay. As a bystander, if I can remember these three words, you can direct, deflect, or dictate. I believe those might be it, I'm not sure, but I'll break them down right now. If you see something like this happening, you can check in and say, "Oh, hey, I think I see Carrie over there. Let's go over to Carrie." You can physically go in and say, "Hey, Jessica, I think we should go and talk to Carrie." If you see something that looks like it's about to be rape or sexual assault, you can get in between that situation. Or you can find somebody. You can go find Carrie and say, "Hey, Carrie, I think something's going to go down. You really need to go get your girl right now because this doesn't look legal, moral, or anything that's within her, within the realms of consent." Can she even consent at this point? No. Why? She's too drunk. And I hear right now neither one of them can, but also who was aggressing the situation? Nick was. Okay. And lastly, you can be direct, and you can just step into the situation and say, "Hey, I think you need to back off. This isn't going to happen tonight." And again, I come back to that question. Who do you want to be? What kind of bystander do you want to be? Think about that. Anybody know Mankato at all? Ever been to Mankato? It's in Minnesota. It's a very heavy drinking town. There's a lot of bystanders that watched a woman have her 21st birthday, and she went from bar to bar to bar to bar to bar. A lot of her friends went with her. She just got plowed. She got very drunk, very drunk, very drunk. And they were all bystanders. They all watched. Some of them even, were the catalyst for the activity. She never woke up the next morning and she died. What do you think her mom and dad did when they went to law enforcement? Figured out who the bystanders were, figured out who the bartenders were, figured out who the bar owners were. It's not necessarily the same. I mean, it is somewhat the same as sexual assault. It's when you're a bystander watching something bad happening, immoral, unlawful, you have the power to step in. You also have the power to check out. Some people are exercising that right now. Think about that. Do you want to check in or do you want to check out? And what power do you want to exercise in those moments? Please think about that. Think about your engagement. All right, we have to move on to our final scene. I'm going to introduce you to two final students, Tom and Nicole. And they're meeting at Nicole's dorm on campus.
And then I knew he was going to fall off that table.
I mean, if couldn't help that his pants were around his ankles.
Oh, yeah.
Much like the SpongeBob box.
Oh, man. If I ever get that bad, please just take me home.
I think I might take pictures.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
It's always nice to have a little something black.
I'll watch my step when I'm around you then.
So, how'd you like my friend?
Oh, my God.
What do you mean?
I just didn't know you had friends like that. They're crazy. More than I expected.
We know how to let our hair down and
Well, now I'm kind of tired. I don't really feel like going home.
don't want you
So, where's your roommate?
to weekend.
The whole weekend? So we have the place to ourselves?
Oh. Hey, let's watch Grey's Anatomy.
Sorry, what?
You know that part of being in a relationship with me is lots of Grey's Anatomy time.
I bet I could think of some more fun things to do.
Thought you were tired.
Not too tired.
Hey, I'm not in the mood. Let's watch
Well, why is tonight different than last time?
have sex every time we're up.
What's wrong? Was I a jerk at the party?
Yeah, you were a total.
That's not funny. I think I'll just go home.
Hey, I was
Well, I might as well go to my apartment where I have a toothbrush.
here. You didn't do anything.
Well, you're obviously not interested.
No, but I'm interested in this. Hey, look, I said I didn't want to. Stop.
Stop.
We're at we were hanging out with some of my friends, and it was great. We were having a really good time. He's usually like a little more reserved or whatever, and he was like just letting go and like getting to know them and stuff. I knew that my roommate was gonna be gone for the weekend, and so I thought we could like hang out for the weekend and like get to know each other a little bit better. It was this breakfast place we've been talking about. Maybe we could tomorrow. I don't know. I'm good now. We got back and we were like kissing and stuff, but I told him I didn't want to have sex tonight. It was fine, but then we were kissing more, and then I told him to stop, and my clothes off and started having sex. I don't know, I just kind of like went into shock or whatever. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to do, and so I just sort of froze. But then I heard something in the hall, and I like came back into myself or whatever, and then I pushed him off.
Okay, what do you think? Raise your hand. What do you think? Yes. Yeah.
He raped her because he clearly indicated that he didn't want to have or
That makes sense, Tom. She just said that Nicole clearly indicated she didn't want to have sex, and then you forced yourself on her.
Oh, no, it's more complicated than that.
What do you mean it was more complicated?
Well, there were different signals. There were a lot of things going on. A lot of different things, like the way, like, fighting me up and clothes off.
Okay, I
pulling
took
me
off
in
my
and-
sweater. I wasn't even wearing that at the party, just because it was cold outside. I put that.
No, it was all the things. It was body language and, like,
Oh, did you just meet this girl, or are you guys like together?
yeah, we've been dating a few weeks.
You know, like when you date someone, like she said, you don't have to have sex every every time you get a chance or every time you're alone. It's just good to spend time with them, watch Grey's Anatomy, eat some ice cream,
Yeah.
cuddle. I mean, okay, it's still a question. I mean, if they weren't together, probably shouldn't go up to her place if you just met her. Kind of weird.
Never. That was just. Doesn't matter. I know.
Yeah, I have, but never went into like their house or their apartment. I probably hung out a couple times, like with like friends.
I mean, I guess I just don't understand why that.
So just a couple things. Just because you guys were together and you've been dating for a couple weeks, that's fine. That's great. You're building a relationship. You've had sex already, it sounds like, a couple times or whatever. That doesn't mean, though, that you have to have sex every time you get together and there's a little bit of romantic in the air. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's you don't get the green light every time you're together and you start, kissing and cuddling and being romantic. Sometimes girls just like to kiss and be romantic and cuddle and watch TV without the sex part. And just because you've done it in the past doesn't mean every single time you get the green light to go. And when a girl says no, she means no,
Every time you have, if you have sex 5 times, it's just
Well, you don't always ask. That like it takes you out of the moment. You just read the signals and try things out and test the waters and yeah. You don't ask because it like fills the
I mean, you
mood.
could.
Are you sober? Are you sober?
I mean, I had like a drink at the party.
How many? Because if they've had too many, then neither one of them would have consent.
Yeah, I think she had one.
I'm just trying to come out from the different angle because it looked like everybody just trying to condole with the situation. Talking about it's kind of okay, to have sex. It's kind of okay, for her to invite him into the dorm, and for them to just keep going on, and it looks like it's okay. But I'm trying to come from the other angle whereby, I mean, first of all, it's a dorm. It's not made for any relationship or for you to take a boyfriend in there. A dorm is a place where you're supposed to stay in there because of the cost of your education in here. That's well. Not when I said education purposes. I mean, yes, friends can come in. Yes, you can interact. But what I'm trying to say here is, I mean, there is a goal because at the end of the day, when you try to bend in anything, life has a journey. In any direction you go, there are bound for things to go wrong, things to happen. So when you left yourself open like that to say, okay, because my roommate is not gonna be around, so therefore when the cat is away, the mice will play kind of thing, that's when things go wrong. Okay?
So I'm not allowed to
And
hang out
at
with
the
my
end of the
boyfriend
day,
alone in
that's
my
where
So I'm not allowed to like hang out boyfriend alone in my apartment without having.
Well, hello. I'm sure if I'm your daddy sending you here, I will not be happy at all to see you hanging in your dorm with your boyfriend. Decisions making. This is where you make conscious decisions. Hello? Conscious decisions. Did you calculate that if I take him in there, he's gonna get to, or his blood pressure or blood is gonna go so high that he will get to a point where he will not listen to you anymore. He will try to do what he wants to do.
Okay, so when we're alone, then I'm just supposed to assume that he's incapable of controlling himself? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think the question is being posed. But open yourself.
Based on what exactly? I mean, like, I'm spending time with a person that I care about, and so then I'm just supposed to, like, assume that something bad might happen.
Ready.
Okay, so one, that whole scenario just really upset me, but because the whole scenario obviously is incorrect, but also what was just said, okay, you should not have to sit there and think, well, if I'm alone with my boyfriend in my dorm, is he gonna take advantage of me? No, he should have the respect for you, not to put you in that situation. And this is where it gets really iffy, because a lot of women nowadays, not all women, but a lot of women don't know how to say no, because not all men, but a lot of men or spouses in general think you're joking, don't take you seriously, or don't respect the fact that you're saying no. There has to be a certain level of respect, and you shouldn't be afraid of saying no. Yes. And there goes another thing. He didn't take it seriously.
I guess well, let me get a poll here. Raise your hand if you don't mean no. So 1 second, 1 second. Down. Law.
With the inviting the boy into the dorm, most of the time when you tell your friends that you're gonna have a guy over, it's just assumed that you're going to have sex, because most of the time that's what you are doing. So because we just got out of high school, and when you're telling your parents I'm going to my friend's house, and then you're lying and you're going to see a guy, you don't have to lie about it anymore. But okay, no, this is misconstruing what my point is. Usually when you're alone with a guy and you're younger and you don't know what you're talking about, let's listen. Never mind. Just never mind. Thank you. The societal thinks that what you guys are doing alone is either having sex or doing sexual things, because that, teenagers, hormones, blah, blah, blah. But so when she invited him to her dorm, he might have thought in his head that she was inviting him over to do things. So then while he was thinking through this and she was saying no, he wasn't thinking of her saying no. He's thinking, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, we've had sex before. We can do this because we're alone. And yeah. Yeah.
I wanted
No, I didn't rape her. I didn't. No, that's not what happened. I didn't do that. But we were, it was fine. It was.
I don't know.
You can probably go to an adult or a supervisor and tell them what happened.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to be like girl or whatever. I don't want all my business all over, and also like to say that they're not gonna tell me that.
Okay. And then is that something she just said she doesn't want her business all around campus, and who's to tell her that they're not just going to blame her? Is that something you can actually discuss, Bridget? Sandy, what she said at the office, confidentially. Okay, so there is confidentiality there. Thank you so much. It sounds like the two of you have a lot to work out. Thank you. We have 5 more minutes, and I want to get to maybe one more comment before I break down what just happened. Yes. That's a great question. So in 2015, there was a study done by the president at the time, a research done on sexual assault on college campuses. 90% of sexual assaults and completed rapes are not reported. To answer your question. And to answer your question, I don't know. If it's not reported, I don't know what happens to it personally. I don't know where it goes or what goes down. Also with that research and that study, 1 in 5 women on college campuses will experience sexual assault or completed rape. 1 in every 12 men on campus have openly admitted to activity that's met the legal definition of rape. And this is kind of a tricky one, because you can ask yourself, why would a guy openly admit to raping somebody? Well, some of the rhetoric that we toss around, even some of the jokes, even some of the accusations. I just got another, man. You did it. It's so, look, like, check in. Check in. I know it's tough. But check in. 1 in 12 men openly admit to completing the legal definition of rape because some of that activity is celebrated, given the pass, goes mum. We humorize it. We may even bond it up and tie it up into language that says, well, how did she say no? Was it like this or was it like that? Was it like no or like a no? We tie it up in language when really we can get down to it and say, well, no means no. So men openly admitting to rape is one thing. I don't even think that they knew that they were openly admitting to it. A lot of people ask why we show this situation on stage. A man being the perpetrator and a woman being the survivor. It's because the overwhelming majority of rape in this country and on campus is this. 90% is this. The 10% that outlies, it's male on male rape or sexual assault. There is a small percentage, it's like a fraction of a percentage that is female on male. But within that 10% where it's male on male, the majority of that is heterosexual men sexually assaulting other men or completed rape. People ask, well, why are heterosexual men doing that? Because rape is not about sex, it's about what? It's about power. It's about dominance. It's about somebody's feeling so the wiring is so bad or disconnected, or the insecurity or something going on in them in their lives leads to wanting to get power from a situation that involves violence and sexual assault. So think about that. And a lot of people, in the way that I see it, and you can challenge me on this afterwards if you want to chat for a little bit, the way that I see it is that we talk a little bit, how can we prevent this? How can women stop this? How can we stop rape? And we see that a lot on campuses. I think another question, can we just say that rape is not okay? Can we turn towards men and say rape is not okay? And also, I want to throw this out there as well. We had some of the language of, well, she might have been inviting him up, this, that, or the third. I would hate to say that we live in a world where I have no control over my body or my emotions, that if a woman takes her sweater off, oh goodness, my blood pressure's going through the roof. It's legally, I can't control it. I would like to think that I have more agency over my body as a male than that. And I would like to think that we live in a world where men can be held accountable to that. So I want you to just reflect on all the things that were said today, and also go back to the question I asked you. What kind of campus do you want to live on? What kind of conversations do you want to have? Again, I said checking in or checking out. It's not wrong or right. I just said it's worth it to you to understand why you do that, because all of us do it for different reasons. We all have different walks of life that led up to now. So I want you to just reflect on that for a little bit. We did not have enough time to get to everybody's thoughts and comments. Even people that may have been a little bit Midwest passive and just, didn't raise their hands and they just wanted to let this whole conversation slide by, want to get in and get out of here. I get it. But we didn't get to your comments or your thoughts. And I know you had some of them. My challenge to you is to not let this conversation die here. Keep this conversation going. I challenge you to do that. Keep thinking about it. And I go back to the question again. Who do you want to be once you leave here? And who do you want to be right now? Bridget, do you have anything else you want to add before I call out the actors and wrap up here? And I do want to be clear. Thanks for bringing that up, Bridget. Whatever misconceptions you had about what happened on stage, that was 100% rape. I know that you may have seen it maybe in a different light, or, oh, this or this happened. That was 100% rape. And actually in that scene, we choreographed that more than any other scene. She turns him down twice as many times as she invites him in. And so think about what you might have picked up on. It's not a trick scene. There's like no magic to it. She actually turns him down twice as many times as she invites him in. And that was 100% rape. It would really, really be to your advantage to not only look inward on how you feel about that, but also, talk to your community about how they feel about that. I'm going to introduce the actors to you. Fortunately, they were none of the people you saw on stage today. If they're ready to come out, they may or may not be. Josiah, Elizabeth, Mark, my name is Toussaint. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today. We appreciate it. I know it's not easy. Have a great rest of your school year. Bridget, anything else you want to say, or we're done?
I keep you for orientation, so thank you very much. It was awesome. We appreciate it. All right, students. A lot to think about, a lot to put into perspective, a lot for you to go consider. But also remember, you got 2 doses of it today. I do have something I want you to follow up with. It is the Starfish Intake Survey, okay? So you're going to pull up your phones now. Even if you're a sophomore, just roll with it. Roll with it. What if you already did it? You're awesome. You're awesome. You don't. Are you connected to the Wi-Fi? Okay, so I have Wi-Fi. It is. Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask that you do. You're going to go find a computer. Okay, you are going to log into Starfish. It is your campus connection credentials along with your campus connection password. You are going to click